Chapter 5. The Void's Echo. The biting chill of the barracks wasn't the same as the gauntlet's manufactured ice, but it still scraped against my skin, a familiar, unwelcome guest. My teeth clicked together, a nervous rhythm against the dull throb behind my eyes. The metallic tang of fear still coated my tongue, a lingering ghost of Kalen Thorne's presence. He'd let me go. He'd hidden my void magic, a secret so dangerous it could mean my swift execution. Why? The question spun in my head, a dizzying carousel of possibilities, each more unsettling than the last. I ran a hand over the rough wool of my cot's blanket, the texture doing little to ground me. The air in the barracks felt heavy, thick with the scent of unwashed bodies and stale fear. Even the hushed whispers of the other recruits felt like a cacophony. I closed my eyes, trying to make sense of the whirlwind inside me. The Commandant, the Obsidian Commandant, had looked at me with something beyond cold assessment. There was a flicker, a brief, almost imperceptible shift in his granite features when he'd faced the other interrogators. He'd taken a risk for me, a street rat from the outer rings, a girl whose magic was a death sentence. It made no sense. Trust was a luxury I'd never known, a concept as foreign as a warm bed and a full belly. And yet, a tiny, treacherous part of me wondered if this strange act of protection was a seed of something else. I shoved the thought down hard. Trusting anyone in this place was suicide. Trusting him would be madness. A shiver traced its way down my spine, unrelated to the barracks temperature. It was a deep, bone-aching cold, like the kind that settled in during the long, lean winters of the outer rings. But this was different. This wasn't just a lack of warmth. It was an absence, a hollow space blooming in my chest, drawing the heat from my core. I hugged my arms around myself, trying to quell the tremor that had started in my fingertips. "You all right, Alara?" Nia's voice, bright and concerned, cut through my uneasy thoughts. She perched on the edge of her own cot, her light-infused fingers sketching intricate patterns in the air, a nervous habit. I forced a smile, a brittle thing that felt ready to shatter. "Just tired. The gauntlet takes it out of you, eh?" Nia frowned, her gaze piercing. "More than usual. You look pale, and you're shaking." She reached out, her hand hovering near my forehead. "Are you getting sick?" The cold intensified, coiling in my gut. It wasn't the flu. This was deeper, more insidious. It felt like my very essence was being siphoned away, leaving a gaping void. A profound sense of wrongness settled over me, a terrifying premonition that something fundamental had shifted. My breath caught. "I'm fine," I lied, my voice thin. The lie felt like ash on my tongue. The ache spread, a relentless gnawing that started in my bones and radiated outward. It wasn't just physical. It was a profound sense of emptiness, a part of me yearning for something I couldn't name. Nia's brow furrowed. "You don't look fine. Here." She extended her hand, a soft golden glow emanating from her palm. Her light weaving was usually a comforting presence. I leaned into it, desperate for any relief. The light touched my skin, but the warmth didn't penetrate the deep cold that had taken root within me. It simply skirted the surface, a useless halo against the encroaching darkness. My eyes widened. Nia's light had always worked. Always. Nia's hand dropped, her face paling. It's not working," she whispered, her voice laced with fear. I can't feel it doing anything." Panic, cold and sharp, pierced through my already aching chest. The room began to spin, the edges of my vision blurring. The cold intensified, becoming an agony, a tearing sensation as if something vital were being ripped from my very core. My knees buckled. "Alara!" Nia cried, scrambling to catch me. I crumpled to the floor, the rough planks scraping against my cheek. All I could feel was the relentless, soul-shattering cold, the unbearable absence. It was a hunger deeper than any I'd known, a void that threatened to swallow me whole. The world was a maelstrom of agony. My nerves screamed, my muscles spasmed, and the cold had become a white-hot spear driven through my chest. I was adrift in a sea of pain, sinking into an icy abyss. My void magic, the power I had tried so hard to suppress, thrummed wildly beneath my skin, a desperate, untamed beast fighting for air. A shadow fell over me. I couldn't lift my head, but I sensed a presence, immense and unsettling. The air grew taut, crackling with an unspoken tension. Then, a sharp, familiar scent. Rain-damp stone and something primal like a storm brewing on the horizon. Kalen Thorne. My mind, though ravaged by pain, registered the impossibility of his presence. He shouldn't be here. Then a touch. Not gentle, but firm, almost bruising, as a hand settled on my shoulder. The contact was like a bolt of lightning, searing and sudden. And then the cold receded. It didn't vanish, but the agonizing intensity eased. The spear in my chest blunted. In its place, his shadow magic acted as a brutal counterweight, a dark anchor that forced my thrashing void magic back into submission. It wasn't pleasant. It was a dangerous, volatile resonance that vibrated deep in my bones. I gasped, a ragged, shuddering breath, and my eyes fluttered open. Kalen Thorne was kneeling beside me, his jet-black hair falling across his brow, his dark gaze fixed on my face with an intensity that stole my breath. He was close enough that I could see the hard line of his mouth, the almost imperceptible tremor in his hand as it rested on my shoulder. His face was a mask of grim determination, etched with something that looked suspiciously like alarm. His knuckles were white where he gripped my tunic. This was not tenderness. This was a clinical, desperate necessity, an act born of some terrifying, unspoken understanding. He was disturbed, deeply disturbed. What is happening?" Naya whispered, her voice trembling. Kalen didn't answer her. His gaze remained locked on me, searching, assessing. His fingers, still on my shoulder, felt like anchors, preventing me from drifting back into the icy abyss. The dark energy intensified, a heavy, oppressive blanket that forced my chaotic magic to settle. It was a terrifying realization. The only thing capable of stabilizing my volatile void magic was the Commandant's shadows. It was terrifying and utterly fascinating.